Hello, guys. Welcome. So today we're going to be talking about AI and facial recognition with your favorite social media platforms. We will also be talking about some common biases, security issues, advantages, and disadvantages. But first, meet your team. My name is Jacqueline Myers. I'm a senior at Cal Poly Pomona, and I am the Chief Financial Officer for FAST. My major is computer information systems, focusing on application development. And on to Amber.
Thank you, Jackie. Hi, my name is Amber Martinez. I am a senior at Cal Poly Pomona, and I am the FAST president. My major is in cybersecurity and forensics, and now I will pass it over to Finn.
Hey guys, my name is Fulbert Finn Candro. I am the Director of Operations and Communications for the club, and I am a CIS major as well, majoring in cybersecurity, and I am in my senior year. Now, let's get this started, shall we? First off, we have Jackie to introduce us to common biases in facial recognition.
Thank you, Finn. So there are some common biases with AI and facial recognition. First things is no AI facial recognition system is accurate. There are gender and racial biases. AI and facial recognition needs data, but what data are they using? Now on to the next. Security issues. So for example, the issue that we're having with social media and AI and facial recognition is that most people do not care about the personal privacy concerns when they're using the platform. This meaning reading your terms of service, understanding that a lot of people, especially kids, are under the age and they still use these platforms. Most of these apps do not have kid safe features. And of course, human error. There's also social scams, phishing attacks, malware, and hacks. Social media solutions. So to prevent or modify how to protect yourself, pay attention to unattended social media accounts. For example, if you have a Facebook that you're not using, maybe pay attention to the security settings on that. Be aware if there's any activity. Beware of imposter accounts. Careful when you're clicking on links. Look at your privacy settings and use strong and secure passwords, and make sure that all your passwords for your social media are different. So how many of you have TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook? And if you don't, you personally do know someone in your family or a friend who has these. If you said yes to any of these, or you're just curious about how all this works within social media and AI and facial recognition, enjoy this presentation. So, but first, what is AI? AI is the theory and development of computer systems that are able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages. What is facial recognition with AI? This is a way of recognizing the appearance of a human face using technology. Facial recognition systems use biometrics to figure out facial features of a subject's face by using photos or videos. Then, the facial recognition system will compare the info with a database of known faces to find a match. You may wonder, how did facial recognition get everywhere? There are three big areas where AI or facial recognition have played a big part. This has a lot to do with big data, advancements in the neural network systems, and powerful graphics, also known as GPUs. So how does facial recognition work? The computer has to learn what a face is. This can be done by training an algorithm. Each time the algorithm is presented with an image, it makes an estimation of where the face is. The first time won't be perfect, but eventually the algorithm will improve. Then the recognition part is next, and this is where the computer learns what a face is. And then it begins to learn unique facial features. Who has this type of technology? The US, China, Japan, Russia, and some parts of Europe. Advantages. So some social media platforms will ask for your consent to use your camera, so you can have some control over what you're allowing the facial recognition to do. Law enforcement has also been able to use this type of tech to uncover criminals or find missing children or seniors. Some small business owners are installing facial recognition systems to watch people and identify any weird or strange suspects. You can tag photos in Facebook or your cloud storage via Apple and Google. Airports are also adding facial recognition technology to security checkpoints. AI is beginning to have a seamless integration and automation of identification. Now let's get into some disadvantages. There's storage of sensitive personal data and the challenges that come along with that. Issues with actually detecting a person's face based on changing their appearance. Most people consider facial recognition a threat to individuals' privacy, and users under the age of acceptance will sign up for social media platforms and become a social media sensation. Now, on to Amber to discuss more.
Thank you, Jackie. Facial recognition in social media. Some of the social media platforms that uses this feature are TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, TikTok, what is it? TikTok is a viral Chinese video sharing app that is owned by ByteDance. It is used to create short music, lip syncing, dance, comedy, and talent videos of 3 to 15 seconds or short looping videos up to 60 seconds. Some of the operating systems that they use is iOS and Android. The age requirement to use this application is 13 years old. Now, how does TikTok use facial recognition? The Chinese TikTok tracks facial recognition by dragging a box over people's faces. This feature pulls up other videos of this TikTok user in which they appear. However, in the United States, this feature violates biometric privacy law by illegally collecting biometric information without the user's consent. Without their consent, TikTok collects users' facial features with their facial recognition software to apply appearances filters to TikTok users' faces and evaluate the videos for quality and users' age requirements. Now, some of you are probably asking, what is the ongoing ownership battles with TikTok? Some of the companies have interested in buying TikTok are Microsoft, Oracle, and Walmart. Walmart has decided to team up with Microsoft in integrating e-commerce and advertising into the application. As for Oracle, Oracle decided to host the US TikTok servers here in the United States, preventing China from acquiring the user's data. This will ensure US national security requirements are met. TikTok's global headquarters will be here housed in the United States, and this will bring 25,000 jobs available. And I will bring it back to Jackie talking about Snapchat.
Thank you, Amber. So Snapchat, what is it? So Snapchat is a messaging app that allows users to exchange pictures, videos, aka snaps, that are supposed to disappear after it's been viewed. It is meant to be a new type of camera because the main feature is to take pictures or videos by adding filters, lenses, and other effects. As always, the operating system is for iOS and Android, and the age requirement is 13 years old. So how does Snapchat use AI to recognize your face? By face detection, facial landmarks, image processing, and face swap filters. So the main source of Snapchat's facial recognition is computer vision, and this application came from a company in Ukraine that Snap acquired for $150 million. You might want to know, what is computer vision? This can be thought as a direct opposite of computer graphics. Computer graphics try to produce image models from like 3D or something you might be familiar with, but computer vision will try to create a 3D space from that image data. Computer vision is starting to be utilized more and more in our society. It's how you scan your checks, it's how data is extracted from the lines, it's how you're able to deposit checks from your phone, and it's how Facebook knows who's in your photos, how self-driving cars are being avoided running into other cars, and how you can give yourself a contoured nose. On to the next slide. So Facebook, what is it? Facebook is a social media and social networking platform that was originally designed for college students, but is now for anyone and everyone to share content with their family and friends. The operating systems for Facebook is iOS and Android, and the age requirement is 13 years old. However, in some jurisdictions, the age requirement can be higher. So, how does Facebook use facial recognition? There is actually a face recognition setting on Facebook that replaces the tag suggestion setting. This lets you know when you appear in photos or videos that you have not been tagged in. It collects biometrics and data, and then it will ask you to tag your friends or families in your photos. You can turn the setting off. Facebook also uses DeepFace, which is Facebook's deep learning facial recognition system. Facebook has this data because we upload it from our pictures, the various angles, and the different aspects of our lives. Facebook knows us because if we haven't tagged ourselves, our friends have. And then the next slide, I'm going to give it over to Amber to discuss the technical aspects of facial recognition.
Thank you, Jackie. Technical aspects of the facial recognition. Facial recognition uses a database of photos such as selfies, driver licenses, and mugshots to identify people in security photos and videos. Facial recognition uses biometrics to map facial features and help verify identity through key features of the face, such as your eyes, nose, mouth, dimples, and wrinkles. However, most facial recognition programs will not work when face filters or face masks are used. This will prevent the program from recognizing your facial biometrics. And now I'll pass it on to Finn talking about the Raspberry Pi.
Thank you very much, Amber. And let's get into what we're using for our demonstration. So first of all, the hardware we are using is called a Raspberry Pi. A quick introduction is that the Raspberry Pi is a minimal costing, small single board computer that can plug into a TV or monitor and can run many different open source operating systems, mostly Linux. For this particular demo, we will be using a Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. And we will be running the software on our Raspbian OS, which is provided by the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Now, Raspbian OS is a Debian-based operating system engineered especially for the Raspberry Pi and its users. Now, the software we'll be using for facial recognition is called OpenCV. And what is OpenCV? It stands for Open Source Computer Vision Library. It is a machine learning program that can detect real-time technology such as motion tracking, facial recognition, object detection, and so much more. It can run on macOS, Linux, or Windows. In this particular scenario, we'll be running it on Linux on our Pi. And that is the link for the GitHub repository. And it utilizes Python to run OpenCV. And now, to demonstrate OpenCV, I will hand it back to Amber.
Thank you, Finn. So I will actually move it on to the next screen. As you can see here, this is our Raspberry Pi. It is a miniature computer, and what we're using is OpenCV. So some of you may not even understand what Python is. Python is actually a language that is used to develop some sort of programs or applications. In this case, Python was the easiest one to use. So as you can see here, it gives you some of the options for image. It's going to be reading a specific image that I have specifically chosen. We did ask consent from our teammate Finn if we can actually use one in regards to one of his classmates. And I will actually bring it over so you all can actually see what the photo will look like. So thank you, Finn, for letting us use your photo for this project. So as you can see here, This is Finn's classmates, and he actually is letting us to use the facial recognition program on all of the students in his class. So this is before running the facial recognition program. Now, when I run the facial recognition program, it actually shows the OpenCV hard cascades and frontal face XML program that is going to be running against. And here's more of the code. It actually shows the detection. It'll print out how many faces were actually detected using this program. And here will be the results of the end photo. So I'm going to run this program. As it's running, it'll actually detect all of the students in that photo. However, when it comes to be running OpenCV, it does take a little bit of time depending on how many faces that it is trying to recognize. So as you can see here, it says it has found 42 faces. So I will actually bring that back up. It'll go to result 6. And as you can see here, 42 students were actually recognized in the photo. You can see all the different squares that are around their faces that the program was actually recognizing. Now, there is another photo that I have actually decided to use I've used on Snapchat and also wore my mask. Because of the fact that the facial recognition program does not recognize facial filters or even protective face masks. So this photo right here, I've actually used Snapchat, and I'm also wearing my protective face mask while I'm out in public. I will actually change the image title. Comes out a bit close. Going to run it, and as you can see here, it found 0 faces. In regards to this facial recognition program, as you can see that it cannot recognize any facial features if you are using a Snapchat filter or even wearing a face mask when you go out in public. And I will bring it back over to Finn.
Thank you very much for that demonstration, Amber. And yeah, that pretty much concludes our demonstration. And as mentioned before, we are a part of a cybersecurity club on campus called Forensics and Security Technology, or FAST. And if you'd like to learn more and participate in these experiments and research projects, we'd love to have you. And you can follow us on social media in the at Cal Poly FAST, as you can see below, or connect with us on Slack. That's our main communications hub, and we'd love to connect with you. Oh, and speaking of connections, we'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn as well. So if you have any questions about the presentation or our club, we will be standing by the Zoom chat if you have any questions, or feel free to send us a message on LinkedIn or Slack. And with that, that's it from us. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and we hope you all have a wonderful day.